love this couch. That's what I was saying. I really like this couch.
You can start recording, so it's just speedy.
I love all the changes that you've made in here. It looks really... And it turns into... Why are we podcasting in bed? That sounded weird. I didn't mean it like that.
Charles has tried to lay down mid-podcast, and we're like, it's not that type of...
Don't try your disappearing act.
Yeah.
No, I won't stand for that. One chance is all you get.
I was saying that, like...
Before you get the axe, try your disappearing trick. I won't put up with it. I know you think you're quick.
Now I feel like the construction's done.
Yeah. It looks really good down here. And you switched all that over there. I like it. It's like...
The only thing that's left is we have to get Charles back.
She apparently didn't watch her studio tour.
You didn't watch the studio tour?
She would have seen all these things.
You know
It's
what?
your husband's company.
He doesn't watch my movies. So
Oh.
You don't watch my movies.
That's
We
fair.
call each other out. Therapy through podcast. Welcome, another podcast. We have a special guest. You've seen her before, but she doesn't have a wand in her hand. She's not casting spells today. We're talking about something different. But introduce yourself for someone who maybe doesn't know you. Who didn't
Hi.
catch the other one.
Which one do we look at? All of them?
Middle one.
Middle
Number one.
The one that's red. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jyllian Petri. I'm here with these guys. Did you want me to say more? More introduction. I'm
Maybe
a Scorpio.
little like.
Oh no, not
some,
that.
maybe like a little something.
Okay, so I'm a Scorpio. It doesn't work. Okay. I work in the film industry, and I have worked in the film industry since I was 5 years old. I feel like I've at least dipped my toes in almost every single avenue, but I have landed, like every single department. But I have landed forever and always. I've been an actor, but I've landed at actor, and I'm also a producer.
You've done it all. When you say you've dipped your toes in everything, for sure, like you've done hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup, yep.
You've produced.
I've produced.
Acted.
I have acted. I've done costume design.
Yeah, and wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. I'm this little secret. I am an award-winning costume designer.
What?
So I've been there.
Wait, what do you mean? Okay, talk about that. What'd you win?
I won Best Costume Design at an LA Film Festival for a movie I did called Silent Night that I lived in Austria for 2 months.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's like it's a period piece one.
What film festival?
I can't remember which one. Shh, don't ask me. It was a while ago.
It was a huge one.
It was a massive,
The biggest one.
The biggest
in
one in
LA.
LA. I just knew it was an LA one, and I
Oh yeah,
found
the
out
Oscars or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
it was probably the Oscars. It's definitely an Emmy. That's
And then how'd you? I mean, I have so many questions. So, where'd you first kind of dip your toes into film, and then what? I know this is a huge question, but then what led you to finding kind of where you're at now?
okay. So I will do the most brief version as I can.
You got to start with the child acting, though.
It was the
At
child
5?
acting. I was 5.
That's hilarious.
and I
That's
was in a
awesome.
That's a good
movie
memory of
called.
it.
Right? That's awesome.
I know and it was in a movie called Samurai Cowboy. Look it up. 'Cause
Samurai
that-
Cowboy?
Was that-
Samurai
Did
Cowboy.
Did you grow up here? Was that shot
It was
here?
in Canada.
No,
It was in Canada, yeah.
That's cool.
And I remember the dude was doing like this cool spin kick and was literally breaking a post on a building. Like he was like jumping and spinning, breaking this post. And I remember this guy, because I was 5, in a big red poofy jacket, because I kept looking at the camera. I straight up I was like that kid.
Staring down the
I was
barrel,
that kid
you're
that
just
just staring
like-
down the barrel. And then this guy in this big red jacket was jumping. He's like, look at me, don't look at the camera. That's what I remember from that experience. And I haven't looked in a camera since.
And he was in a big red puffy coat because it's
It was Canada. And even though it was summertime, it was still cold.
And then child acting, and then did you continue acting, or what kind of?
Yes. Acting has always been my number one passion. I've always done it forever. That's my thing. So I did theater forever. So I was in my first play when I was 4, first movie when I was 5. I was in Little Abner. That was the first one. And then I was in theater all through junior high and high school. I did musicals. And
You grew up in a movie theater.
I grew up in the
Which we
movie
learned in the
theater,
last
which we
podcast.
learned in the last one.
She ate candy off the
I
floor.
ate candy off the floor and turned out great. Oh, wait, I need to clarify this because my mom watched that podcast and she's like, I remember that. And then let me clarify to the whole world. All of my siblings apparently ate candy off the floor. She was like, I had to tell all of you kids to stop. So I felt
I don't know
better.
what kid
It
wouldn't,
wasn't
though.
just
Like,
me.
I mean, I'm even tempted now when I see somebody from. I'm like,
I mean,
It's
10-second
popcorn,
rule.
yeah.
10-second rule.
Nothing bugs me more though when you're seeing somebody walk out of the theater and they're throwing away like a whole large popcorn. You're
I
like,
can't stand it. I'm like, you take that home.
that's what I do.
Popcorn for
yeah.
later.
I leave it on the counter for like 3 days just until it gets a little too stale.
But
it's a
Alex,
snack.
Alex, one of our guys here, he hates the smell of popcorn, and we went to the movies
What?
and left it here.
Yeah, he like
walked in and he's like, "Did someone leave popcorn?" and knew exactly the smell and like sniffed it out and went and threw it away. And I was like, oh,
Bro, I
he
had
does not like
love
That's
popcorn.
amazing.
How
that
does
same
that
time
smell?
they came back, they had that same thing. They left popcorn on the counter just like I do, and I had taken a handful, come down here. He literally was like, "Do you have
It's like-
popcorn?"
It's
He's like,
butter.
yeah,
Wait,
he's
It
like
smells
grossed
so
out
good.
by
It
it.
smells
It's
so
hilarious.
good. And also, he works in movies, like popcorn movies.
So funny.
Peanut butter jelly.
Alex, we gotta have a talk.
He can
We have
sniff
to
it
have a
out.
chat.
I don't get that. Because there's a difference between movie popcorn
And
Oh, there's
regular
a
and
popcorn.
big
like
difference.
whatever you can buy in the store popcorn.
It's not the
And
same.
movie popcorn is just like
So much
The
better.
best.
so good.
He sniffs it out, bro. I had like 2 handfuls. Came back down here. He was like,
Get out of here.
So,
Oh,
grew
so-
up in a
yeah,
theater,
Grew up
acting.
in a movie theater. Then we moved to the States, and then that's when I like did theater through high school. I was in another movie at 16. It was just background, but I was so excited. And then I went to college, and university, and I was at the university, and I did so much theater there. Like it was eat, breathe, sleep theater, and that's when I started getting into costume design. I really wanted to be a fashion designer. Like I was all about clothes and fashion, and so I started doing costume design. And then I had to when I was graduating, I had to take another credit, and that's when I did hair and makeup. Like it was hair and makeup for stage and screen. Let me clarify. With my teenage self, I never wore makeup. Never wore makeup. It was only when I was on stage. Like literally, makeup brush would not come near me unless I was on stage. I was like, my husband will never see me with makeup on unless I'm in a show. That was a dirty lie. So I started, I took that class because I was like, I need the credit to graduate. Fell in love with it because it was just like doing art. Like I'm an artist, I paint, and it's doing art on people's faces. So, I mean, it ended up being super, super cool. And from there, I started doing, I would just like go and do these student films or these free projects and just started networking so that it would like snowball to like
And that was
bigger
here
and
in
bigger
Salt Lake?
projects. Yeah, that was here in Utah. And so, I mean, I do these student films, I do these free projects. I started with costume designing my first film when I was the head costume designer when I was 23. Whoa, knocking things over. And then it was the one right after that I did that won the award. And then costume design ended up being a lot of laundry and a lot of ironing.
I was like, wait, I've heard this before because I thought costume design is like really cool. I actually love like fashion and I've made my own clothes and I'm like way into that stuff. But I have heard like when I've ever thought about getting into it, I think it was Emerson or someone told me, she was like, unless you like doing laundry and you like ironing, don't think about getting into costume. And I was like, I want to like build
explain
cool
that
stuff.
though. Like explain that. And it's mostly because of the type of shows that we do here in Utah.
It's
Yeah.
because, when you actually get to design and the clothes are like sewn and created, that is so different. But here it's a lot of shopping and styling. Like it's not.
So you're shopping
I
for
got
like
fortunate with the period piece that I won the design for because we actually could like create some
I don't
stuff.
think we
and
do
we
a
could
lot
go
of-
rent some stuff. And
Yeah, like period pieces
Yeah.
or like the crazy like old school pieces where you period pieces where you see like the crazy wigs and like outfits
Yeah.
and all that
or
stuff.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like we don't
So
do cool.
we don't
don't
do
do
that,
that,
stuff
yeah.
where you actually get to like create it.
We're very Christmassy, Hallmarky, family horror film. Like
Yeah.
I guess we get some horror films where you do like, but
Get
that's
some
more
blood
makeup.
on it, but that's more just like throw some blood on it.
It's
Yeah.
like
Hair and
SFX
makeup.
and makeup.
Yeah.
So in reality, you're shopping and then you're just doing everybody's laundry and steaming it, not just ironing, like steamers. And so that was, I even got to work with Mona May, who designed Clueless and Enchanted. So I worked directly with her, but it is too much laundry. I do enough at home, and I
yeah. It's,
kind of
have you not seen? Have you walked
being
in like
fun.
the Emerson, a couple of the other like girls we work with a lot on the Hallmarks? Have you seen the trucks just on the Hallmarks and stuff? Like
Yeah.
they fill like an 18-wheeler just for like a couple weeks, and like I went to their little storage sale they had at the end of the season last year.
It's so awesome.
They sell like they had like 5 racks of stuff with tags on it that was never even tried on or worn, and they sell it like 80%
It's
off.
so
they just
cheap.
get rid of it. It's ridiculous.
Disney does
they
that
fill
too.
it with so
They're
much
big,
stuff.
They're big sales.
It
at the end of
surprises
the
me
show.
every time. Yeah,
It makes
like-
sense though, because yeah, they're buying all these clothes and then they got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I just need the world to know that costumers, you guys are rock stars because also the longest hours. You're there first thing and you're there till way late. Like the
Doing
hours
laundry.
are doing
I was about to
laundry.
say, and yeah, as soon as if you have to have fresh clothes in the morning, if you're ending at 10 at night, you're doing laundry, waiting for it to dry, or like doing that before in the morning. Like
You know what
You're there
they should
early,
have?
Yeah.
This is brilliant. You know how they have like those washer and dryer combinations?
Mhm.
So that way you could just like throw everything in the washer/dryer combination and then just be like,
But
do
then
it.
they can only get
And then
people to
walk
buy
away.
one appliance.
Just be like, do it.
They gotta get us
That's
to buy
just
2
like how
appliances. That's only
everyone.
one
Well,
now.
most of those trucks have like 4 washer and
Wait,
dryer
hold on.
sets in them.
Yeah,
so
that's
Charles,
This doesn't work like that.
so Charles.
This is sorry. What were you gonna say?
Well, no, I'm just agreeing. I love how Charles comes in from camera, and he's like
We should
throwing
combine
some
them.
camera perspective at it. He's like, "Why don't you just come up with something where you push one button and walk away and it's done?"
That's like how a lot of people think that costume designers have a magic closet that like everything you need is in it and it fits every person. So when they like bring someone in and they're like, clothe them, and you're all, great, let's do it right now. Okay, I do have to tell a funny story because it has to do with Charles. I'm gonna tell this one's funny because you said
Throw
he's
him
like
under the bus.
he's like
Throw him under the bus. I
because you're
wanna
like
hear it.
he's the camera guy that's like one button, do it. So we were working on High School Musical. I was in makeup on High School Musical. That's what I did, the series. And one day just took extra. It was just like a longer morning, and he. I shouldn't share this, but it's so funny. He walked in. He's like, "Does it really take that long to get hair and makeup and clothes on people?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Does it really take that long to set up a light?" And he's like, "Touche," and walks away.
It's true though. We like our sweet time on camera, but we're always like, "Why isn't that done? It's just a T-shirt. Throw it on." But yeah, there is a lot that goes into it, and I think from the camera perspective, we may not give them as much credit as deserved because we're always like, "Come on, let's shoot. All right, let's go home. Like clean up." When there is a lot of, so I guess what I'm saying is I'm sorry, and
We
I'm
like the world to
apologizing
revolve
publicly.
around us.
Yeah, camera is very
Amazing.
selfish.
We are.
I didn't say it.
Charles,
Charles
is
is
like, Charles was like, "I'm staying silent."
Yep.
Yep.
So finding your kind of lane now, and how you said like you kind of figured out that wasn't it.
It just wasn't my jam. So then I moved to like hair and makeup. Well, I was always doing acting like on the you know, with
In
acting you
between.
don't get every job in the world. So there's like you need that was my other thing that went hand in hand with it, kept me in the industry. Then I went to makeup because I was like, cool, I just need my kit and I don't have to be there and I don't have to like all day and I don't have to do laundry. So I was really excited. So that's when I shifted into that, and that's when I worked on like High School Musical and Andy Mack, and I worked for Discovery, and it's such a long story and I don't want to get into it, but I got into makeup because I went and gripped for a day with Charles on a Discovery show.
I think that goes perfectly with everything we've been saying in this podcast, though, without like going too much into how that happened. Is like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Don't be afraid
Jump
to.
in another lane, and who knows what opportunity that could get you.
It networked
for
me
what
to
you
the
want,
makeup
yeah.
artist that got me into later, just because I went and did it for one day with him, and that's what, you know what I mean? And that's literally why I ended up in it. So don't be afraid to jump into it. Don't be afraid to go try it out. And I have directed some things and I've written scripts. I do a lot of that. We've produced some like shorts and some features,
You
and
produced a lot of stuff that I've been
that
a
is
part of.
yeah. And that's what kind of like creating the scripts that I had written and producing those scripts is what made me realize I really love producing, like really, really love it.
Why do you love it so much?
Because you want me to say because I love being in charge. I
She
knew
likes
that's
being
what
in,
that face.
nothing's wrong with saying that though. Nothing's wrong with saying like I like to be in charge and tell people what to do.
Somebody's got to do it.
But like in a fun way, like in a cool way.
You are a great producer though, because you do come in with like that mom mentality where it's like I'm gonna take care of everyone. And no, some producers come in with like, I'm just gonna say like the fuck you mentality where it's like it's like we have a budget and this and that, and I feel like you come in where it's like we're a team and like how can we come together and figure it out,
Yeah.
Thanks.
which is good.
Thanks. That means a lot. That's what I try to do. We are a team. I can't do it without everybody else. Like, can't do it without you guys, you know? And so let's have a good experience while we're doing it. Like, let's have fun while we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we make movies. I make movies because they're fun and I love it. Like, let's keep it that way.
No, I
right?
can't remember
Yeah.
a project we haven't had a blast on. We were doing a fun project and on our last one, and some things weren't going perfectly smooth, and we were doing like a rain gig, and like the rain wasn't really working, and I was like, I'm gonna get in here and fix this thing. And I like, everyone's like watching, and the brain is not working. You're trying to figure it out. Charles is like sitting there going, whatever Scooter's doing is definitely not gonna work, but not telling me it's not gonna work. And so I'm sitting there like fixing this thing, and I like undo it, and water just goes all over me, and I just get soaked on set, and I don't say anything to anyone.
I didn't realize that you were
And
just so.
I was like, and I like put it back up, and I'm pretty sure Charles saw the corner of his eye. And I luckily.
Wait, you did. You did. You're like, Scooter got soaked. I remember that now.
And then I told my fiance, I was like, "Will you go to the car and grab me change clothes?" It was bad. But we had
That's so
fun,
funny.
and like with that, I think what I'm getting at is like, with you producing, there was a problem there, and it was like, no, we're a family. Like we're all more than willing to like figure out and problem solve with that. Where I feel like a lot of the times you find yourself on set where it's like, maybe I'll stay in
Like,
my lane
yeah,
on this one.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Thanks.
of course.
But and I mean, it's the cool adventures we've got to do with producing. I was talking to someone about it today that just like working in film and producing, like we have gotten to do so many cool things and travel the world and go to places that you would like never expect.
Let's talk
And
about that real quick. You brought us to
the
Albania.
Balkan, yeah, Albania, the Balkans. We did Jamaica. We also did this really fun canyoneering project with Aaron Ralston. That's the guy that 127 Hours guy, and we got to go there.
I think in 2019, from you guys scouting and us shooting, I'm speaking for YouTube. I think you spent like 6 months out of the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or at least out of the state,
Or
out of the country and out of the state.
with
Yeah.
all the scouting and all that. That was crazy.
That was wild.
a lot.
Albania is so cool too. Like I would have.
What's
never
it like
have
producing in another country?
It's an event I love it because I've spent time. I worked on a film in England, and I've lived in England and London for a long time, and I lived in Austria and Germany, so I'm really used to it, and I love working with other peoples in countries. I try to learn the language as fast as I can, or if I can't, I bring people in that know the language so that they can help us get around. I think it's
What's
cool.
some advice
I love
you
the
could give
adventure of
someone?
it.
Say someone's producing, they get a job out of the country, and they're like,
Get a fixer. That's my advice.
okay,
Get a fixer. A fixer's a person who fixes stuff. That's it.
Where do you?
No, they
where
know
do you
the lay of the
find a
land.
Fixer, like, yeah. Where does someone? I'm sure you could call someone, but like, a fixer. They organize stuff for you. They know the local area.
Yep.
They have connections to local film crews and people you could need.
Yes. They
More
speak
or
the
less,
language
it's
so
somebody
that-
like. Could you be a fixer for somebody else coming in?
Oh,
from
if
another
someone came
country?
to Utah, we could totally be a fixer because we know the cost of things, where things are, best places to shoot. They help get permits. They help talk to people. Like,
So maybe somebody's not a fixer full time. Maybe they produce in their country, but you can hire them as a fixer for
Yeah.
your production type thing.
Totally could.
you can honestly, looking for one if you're going to a country, Google it. And
There
it
are
will-
companies that do
it.
that
There's companies that
specifically
do it,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
they
ones you
also-
guys found in the Balkans
Are the
and
coolest.
Albania are like,
So rad.
we still
We
text
love
them and
them,
talk
yep.
to them now, and like became family friends with them. And like I literally offered our house. I was like, anytime you come to Utah, like please stay at our house. Like come to the United
Anytime.
States.
Yeah, we love them. They're so cool. I mean, you spend a lot of time with them on the road. Like
Yeah,
they
we're-
drove us
yeah.
around, and it's hours and hours and hours and days, and so you can't help but like become friends.
Yeah. I one thing just like, Artie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Artie was the guy's name, and I remember one of our cars was having problems, and it was raining outside, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and like we're in this like hotel, like it's so weird. Albania is obviously a fully different country, but we're like driving in the middle of nowhere. We're in this like place, and our truck is
Hang on.
breaking down.
Albania is a different country.
Obviously,
Like different than U.S. or like
you
That's
know
so
what I
weird.
mean? Okay,
That'd be
but
crazy.
it's not third world, but it's not like.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is like they still sell like petrol on the side of the road kind of.
I don't
thing.
even think you can say third world anymore.
What do you mean? Is that bad?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not PC.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well,
It's
you
a
know what I
developing
mean.
country.
It's a developing country, and it's just different out there, right? And so we're like,
It's a different country.
he trolls me so hard. So then, whatever, our Jeep thing is not working, and we like get into our rooms, and he checks us all in, and I like look out the window, and he's literally under the car, like out there fixing stuff, hood up, changing the spark plugs. the next
Oh, I
morning.
remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the next morning we got to breakfast and we didn't know if we could make it for the shoot the next day with the car. Didn't know if they had to get it fixed. And he's like, oh no, bruv, I did it all. And we're like, what? And he's like, I was up all night. I redid the spark plugs. I redid this. I did that. Now it's running perfect. And we're like, dude.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
They fix things. And like, that's where we came. Like, it just like you earn respect for each other. And like, it's cool.
And Nick, this is really sidetrack, is literally my dad's twin.
He looks exactly like
Exactly
your dad.
like my dad.
Wait,
it was like
have I
one of
met
the
your dad?
first. I don't know if you.
I don't think I met him.
Yeah.
No, you did. You did on Bloody Calculus.
I did. They
Yeah,
came in.
do you remember
Yeah,
him?
they came in for the day. They do look similar.
Right?
I didn't even put that together.
I'm pretty sure I told him that within like the first 20 minutes. I was like, dude, Nick, you look like my dad. And then he said, the girl I took around last week said the same thing. Anyway, it's really sidetrack random.
Shout out Drive
Shout out
Albania.
to Drive Albania.
If you ever go to Albania or the Balkans, I would say hit them up.
And all joking aside, I want to take Mur on our honeymoon out to like Italy in that area, and I'm gonna hit them up, and I want to use
Yes.
them and like take her through Albania and like places that we went, cause like, yeah, their experience and everything. So it's cool how like film and producing can not only like it just I don't know, you gain so many relationships and learn so many things like that. It's
And there's
cool.
like yeah,
pretty
and
cool.
there's a lot of team building experiences. Like you said, the car breaking down.
Yeah.
We had to after our canyoneering one day. It was midnight. We had hiked 16 miles. We'd been rappelling, and we got a flat tire, and the whole crew came. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
These guys were ahead. We were like honking at them, trying to get. Anyway, they came back, and the whole crew got out of the car, got the spare out, and got the tire back on. Like, it's just cool. It's just really cool.
Like people weren't throwing headphones on, going, "Oh, they'll
Not a
fix it,"
single
and
one
like
of them.
open their book. It's like, "Hey, like let's get on the road. Let's get them going too," kind of
yeah,
thing.
everyone. Shirts were like, coming off like full mechanics, getting under there. I feel like I remember that happening. That was probably Dan. Like any second he had, any chance he had, if he's watching.
I don't
he knows
remember.
what
It
I'm
was
talking
cold.
about. No, I swear that guy, like, it was full mechanic situation. They did it.
I love it.
But yeah, that's, I guess, like the best way is that whole avenue like led me to producing, and I love producing now. I'm with a company where we're going to be producing a lot more. I'm working on a TV show right now. With
You guys
a
are doing
different
a lot of
company.
cutting edge stuff and like a lot of stuff we can't talk about.
Can't
but
talk
like
about
I can only
yet.
say that it is so freaking cool. If you thought the Harry Potter stuff was cool, get ready because like this stuff is like
It's insane, and these guys were on it doing really cool stuff with that technology.
but I won't say a word. Charles will tell you, just DM him.
Yeah. We'll tell you off camera.
No, I'll put Charles' number in the description. FaceTime
He's
Charles
gonna-
as much as you can. He loves it.
Can you imagine?
It'll be his favorite thing. Call him nonstop.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the stuff we're going to do in the future, for the projects coming up. And I'm excited to see what else your journey has to offer for you.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
Me too. I'm gonna keep journeying.
And you're going to be
Do it.
producing for Happy Rabbit and stuff we're doing. We didn't even say that or announce that.
What?
So there's that.
I'm excited.
You knew that. What do you? Don't act like.
I was trying to
don't
act surprised.
I was like, don't
this
act
is-
like it's an announcement that you didn't know about. We literally talked about
I
it
know. I
in the
was trying
meeting.
to like act surprised, like it was a big reveal. I was hoping there'd be balloons. That, like,
Why didn't you get the? Did you get the cake? I told you to pick up the
where's my
cake.
Yeah, it's in the fridge.
I told Charles to get the cake and balloons. You can talk to him later about it. Sorry.
How dare.
Any chance I get, I'm throwing Charles under the bus too.
Every time I come, someone is thrown under the bus, like repeatedly.
It's the family thing here.
I love
Evans
it.
hasn't been picked on this podcast. You've been quiet
It's
over
just
there.
because you pick on, it's not just for the podcast. It's just kind of in
You get
general.
enough normally.
Yeah, it's not just a show thing. It's just
And at least
daily.
you know I don't do it for the camera. It's like an everyday thing.
You know.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. We're gonna have you on a bunch, obviously, and continue talking about projects. And as projects release, it'd be fun to like show projects and talk about like the things and problems you went through and problem solve to get things to happen.
I was like, we got stories for days. So that sounds fun.
Well, as always, thank you, and please like, subscribe. If not, hit that freaking notification button and
Give Charles a call.
give Charles
Give
a call.
Charles
me a
a
call.
call.
FaceTime, tell him good night.
He's a night owl.
Peace.
See ya.